Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Today's Friday. I'm home from work. I just got back from Costco. Um, I think everybody has pretty much seen the reports out there on Seth Rollins. Dave Meltzer came out and basically gave an update on what he said after Saturday night's main event. I think everybody's kind of coming out and saying that Seth Rollins' injury is a storyline. It's to make you think that he basically went away and then he's going to surprisingly pop up on CM Punk, possibly at SummerSlam 2025, if he wins the championship from Gunther. And he's going to steal the show, and it's going to be one of the best cash-ins of all time because you're going to go back and look at that LA Knight match on Saturday night's main event and realize that he had himself go down with an injury. He gave himself an L in the record book to give him like one of the biggest wins possibly of his career. I talked about this. I think I wouldn't have been able to talk about it on my Saturday night's main event review, but I think I talked about it on my Monday Night Raw review. How I was listening to the Review Away podcast from Post Wrestling, and John Pollock, out of the middle of nowhere, just kind of said that he knew the finish of the Seth Rollins match 2 days before it aired on Saturday night's main event, and that was a live event. Kind of says that if Rollins was going to go down with an injury, it was a planned injury and it was going to be a storyline. Everything happened exactly the way that his source told them it was going to happen. I thought it was weird that, John Pollock, who I think he's an awesome podcaster. I've listened to him, honestly, for a really long time. In this last year, leading up to WrestleMania, I've really gotten into his shows more than I have in the last few years. But I make sure I go out of my way for the Monday Night Raw reviews and the pay-per-view reviews. I'm always listening to him and Wei Ting, and he's not really a guy that comes out and breaks news stories. He'll kind of talk about news stories, but he's not the guy like leading the charge. So I thought it was funny that he was the only person kind of reporting that the Rollins thing sounded funny. I texted my buddy Mike today. I apologized to Mike that I kind of sent him like a huge spoiler. I know that CM Punk is one of the guys that really keeps him involved in wrestling as of right now, and Seth Rollins is one of his favorites, and to kill like such a big moment for him, I honestly think that sucks. With that out of the fog, I think that the CM Punk versus Gunther match at SummerSlam honestly seems like it could be really, really good. You could see how Seth Rollins stirred the pot a little bit a few weeks ago when he showed up on Monday Night Raw and he came down to Gunther and basically put him on watch, that he's not just looking at John Cena and Cody Rhodes. He could come down and cash in on Gunther at any time. He didn't feel like Gunther was paying attention to him. And at that time, I was kind of wondering, like, where is CM Punk? Seth Rollins showed up. He stopped CM Punk from beating Cody Rhodes John Cena at Night of Champions. You think that this guy'd come running down and start like bashing his face in. Punk had said on the lead up that he really didn't want to be champion because he knows how being champion changed his mindset in the past, and it kind of warps your brain and it kind of turns you into a different person. So I know he's upset that he didn't win it, but maybe he was at a point in his career where he's all right of it. But the second I kind of passed that through my mind, Punk came running down, attacking Rollins, and I thought it was hilarious that Gunther just kind of like backed into the corner. He almost pretty much put his hands up, and he was like, "Hey, this ain't my fight. I'll let these guys fight all day long. I'm not involved in this." Gunther is a pretty smart dude. If you think how he kind of like disappeared after WrestleMania 41 when he lost to Jey Uso. He didn't really start any beef. He didn't get any matches. So that way, once he got his rematch, he'd be good to go and he'd be like fresh as a daisy. Unlike Jey, who he was warning, kept running out basically in every match on Monday Night Raw, getting involved with every storyline, fighting fights that weren't his fight. He just basically just kind of put his hands up and said it is what it is. And when Rollins was able to run away, Punk ran over to Gunther in the corner and just basically was like, hey, you stay out of your business and I'll stay out of mine. And who knows the foreshadowing. 2 weeks later, Punk and Gunther are going to be going at it for the championship after Punk won the gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw. So I am pumped for this one. If WWE doesn't get scared with the amount of people tweeting about it as of right now, you know, I feel bad to my buddy Mike that I just straight up tweeted it to him, like saying it in the videos. Like, if you're listening to Stevie Breach in 2025, this is not 2010, 2011, you're pretty much in the know. You're on Reddit, you're on Twitter, you're listening to Meltzer, you're listening to just about everybody out there who has a podcast because you love the world and you love the stories of professional wrestling. But we got till that. I'm guessing that Punk and Gunther is going to be the main event of night 1 on August 2nd. So we got 2 weeks until we get there. It's enough time for WWE to kind of like change on the fly. We're going to see the way they do it. WWE Unreal is going to be coming up, honestly, sooner than later. I'm really looking forward to that night when those honestly kind of debut. I'm kind of waiting to get home from work on Tuesday, and I'm hoping that that's going to be like, I don't know if it's a documentary. It kind of makes it seem like it's going to be like shows in an episode. You can really see they filmed stuff at the Royal Rumble. They filmed stuff at Elimination Chamber. They definitely filmed stuff at WrestleMania. So I don't know if they're showing that like 3-month window of January until like March, April this year, and maybe it'll end at WrestleMania. I'm not really sure what we're looking forward to, but the trailer that they dropped the other day made it seem even crazier than it is now. And we've seen, Triple H talking to The Rock about what was going to happen, when he slit his throat in an Elimination Chamber. So at least we know that The Rock is not off limits for this deal. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. And I just remembered that I got to start playing NCAA football today. So I'm going to eat my lunch. I'm going to eat my pizza, upload the video, play game 2 in the year of Stevie Breach coaching Tennessee. See if we can bring the Natty back home. I'll tell you the truth. I play on freshman mode. Last year it took me a couple of seasons before I bumped it up, but it does seem that this year's game is a lot harder than last year's game right out of the box.